Labour's Mandelson says just as well EU's snubbed May trade plea as UK not ready for talks. The arch-Remainer said the cabinet has no united vision of what a future partnership with the EU should look like and suggested Brussels should not trigger sufficient progress next month either. In a gloomy appearance, the prominent Remain campaigner and chief ally of Tony Blair warned the UK will never be an equal partner to Brussels and should accept its fate as a rule-taker. He also risked infuriating eurosceptics by calling for a pause in the divorce so voters can make informed and rational decisions, but insisted this would not be an attempt to defy the will of the people. He said, "Who knows how long the Conservatives will remain in office? Brexit may even destroy Brexit with all its emerging contradictions, complexity, costs and divisions." Lord Mandelson made the remarks at a Centre for European Reform event in Brussels shortly after the EU's chief negotiator, Michel Barnier, gave an uncompromising speech on Brexit. In his address, the Frenchman warned European capitals would reject any post-Brexit trade deal if the UK embarks on a program of deregulation in order to secure a competitive edge. Lord Mandelson said many Brexiteers wanted to move out of Europe's sphere of influence and would be very happy for Britain to become a regulatory satellite of the US in the future. He said, "There is a political standoff in the cabinet between soft leavers and clean breakers, and as a result Mrs. May is unable to get agreement to the negotiating guidelines that she needs for any future trade deal. It's just as well, therefore, that the EU did not move to phase 2 in October. I'd say that even December is looking a little risky." The Labour peer said the current stasis in British politics, with the Tory party racked by infighting, could present an opportunity to create a pause in Brexit so this proper debate can take place. He added this would be not in order to defy the will of the people, but to enable the British people to take rather more informed and rational decisions about this than they were given the information with which to do so at the time of the referendum. He raged, "I know that the Brexit press, and I know the hardliners in the Tory party interpret it as meaning that Britain shouldn't stay in the single market or the customs union, but with similar validity I could say that the British people did not vote last year to make themselves poorer. There are many people in Britain who do not like to see Britain given our size and status as a rule-taker, but I have to say I think it would be better to be a rule-taker on the periphery of Europe and for our environmental, social, labor market, consumer standards and rules to be maintained, rather than to see those swept away by a bunch of hard-nosed Brexiteers." The Remainer peer claimed that hard Brexiteers, such as Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson and Environment Secretary Michael Gove, don't want to negotiate because they don't want to be suckered into an arrangement based on EU laws. He said, for appearance's sake they repeat the mantra that Britain will seek the fullest possible future trade deal, by which they mean a bespoke arrangement tailored to the size of Britain's economy and our status as a former EU member. They know the EU 27 are not going to offer such a hybrid deal, and they will claim that governed inflexibly by its own rules the EU is forcing Britain to walk away. They're prepared to pay the tab and to leave without a future trade deal. Lord Mandelson, who wants to see Britain remain in the single market and customs union, said if that is not possible Brussels should consider resurrecting the dormant TTIP deal with the US and apply it to the UK instead. The Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, TTIP, which the EU had hoped to sign with Barack Obama but was killed off by Donald Trump, contains greater provisions on trade and services than its equivalent with Canada. He said European leaders may not want to agree such a deal with the UK, given the smaller size of its economy compared to the US, but that it should be scoped out as a possible option. He said, while the UK will never be an equal partner, it will certainly be the most important economic relationship for the EU on its doorstep by a large margin. It would be up to the EU 27 to decide whether the size of the UK market makes it worthwhile. I would simply underline that we are a fairly big economy in Britain. We are in close proximity. We're the biggest on the EU's doorstep. It therefore is not irrational for